I died on Christmas morning, choking on the bitter irony of a poisoned eggnog spiked by my own blood, my cousin Marcus. That snake in Brooks Brothers' wool, grinning like a Cheshire cat as the world blurred to black. The last thing I saw was Grandma's antique silver bell tumbling from my limp hand, its chime mocking the holiday cheer we'd all pretended to embrace. And then, nothing, until the screech of tires on black ice yanked me back, my heart slamming against ribs that felt too young, too alive. As I blinked into the rearview mirror of my beat-up Honda Civic, the date on the dashboard screaming December 20th. 5 days before it all went to hell again. I'd been Scarlet Hayes, the black sheep of the Hayes dynasty, the one they whispered about at family barbecues in the Hamptons, the girl who dropped out of Yale to chase some hippie dream of indie filmmaking in Brooklyn lofts, while my cousins clawed their way up Wall Street ladders. But that was the sanitized version. The real me? The one who'd stumbled onto the family's dirtiest secret 2 years back. Buried deeper than Grandpa's offshore accounts, Grandma Evelyn wasn't just old money. She was complicit in covering up a hidden run that killed a maid's kid back in the 90s. A poor, undocumented girl from Queens who'd seen too much during one of our charity galas. I'd found the bloodstained scarf in the attic, the police report stamped closed, donation made, and the emails from Daddy's firm to the DA's office. Greased palms and all. I'd confronted Grandma in whispers, thinking it'd bond us, make me the keeper of the flame. Instead, she made me swear silence, handed me a trust fund stipend to keep my mouth shut, and warned that the Hayes name was built on bones like that. They killed me for it. Or tried to. Marcus, ever the golden boy, overheard my drunken confession at Thanksgiving me, 3 whiskeys deep, venting to Aunt Lydia about how the family's legacy tasted like rust. He pieced it together, rallied the troops, Daddy, who saw me as a liability to his Senate run, Cousin Becca, whose trust fund fueled her Upper East Side coke habit, even sweet little Uncle Ray, who owed bookies more than his soul. They framed it as mercy, a quick exit before I spilled to the press, before some Me Too knockoff exposed the Hayes rot. Eggnog laced with antifreeze, served with a side of Scarlet's always been unstable. The autopsy ruled accidental overdose. Grandma's will redirected to loyal heirs.
Clean.
Efficient. American as apple pie a la mode. But death's a lousy editor. It cut my reel too soon, and now here I was, 25 again, veins pumping with yesterday's rage, the Civic's heater blasting against a freak East Coast blizzard. My phone buzzed, a text from Becca, fam dinner at Grandma's Christmas Eve. Don't flake. LOL. Wear something decent. I laughed, a jagged sound that fogged the windshield. Flake?
Oh.
Honey, this time I'd direct the whole damn show. I ditched the Civic in a snowbank off I-95 and thumbed a ride to the city with a trucker named Hank who smelled like diesel and regret. Rough holiday, he grunted, eyeing my threadbare coat. I smirked. You have no idea. By the time I hit Manhattan, the skyline glittered like fool's gold, and I was already plotting cuts. First stop, my tiny Bushwick walk-up, where the lease was still in my name. I rifled through the fridge, expired yogurt, a half-eaten pizza, and found my laptop under a pile of rejection letters from Sundance. Password: Hayes Rot 2023.
Inside.
The files I'd squirreled away, scans of the scarf, the emails, even a grainy VHS of Grandpa's car peeling out that night, timestamped 2:17 a.m. After the gala, I digitized it all, thinking it'd be my big break, a docuseries exposing blue blood sins. Instead, it had been my noose, But not this time. I emailed backups to a burner account, then hit up my old contact at the Village Voice, a chain-smoking editor named Ruiz who'd always said I had fire. Scarlett? Thought you ghosted. Change of plans, I typed. Got a bombshell on the Hayes family. Meet tomorrow? His reply, hell yes. Coffee. 10 a.m. Next. The money. Grandma's ritual, every Christmas Eve. She'd summon us to her Park Avenue penthouse. All 12 grandkids lined up like cadets. And hand out checks. 5 million each. No strings. Because blood's thicker than ink. Last time. They'd all cash theirs faster than you could say, yacht fund, while I lay twitching on the marble floor. The check fluttering from my pocket like a white flag. This go-round, I'd play the game. But on my terms. I crashed on Ruiz's couch that night, the city humming outside like a beast too wired to sleep. Dreams hit hard. Marcus's face. Smirking as he toasted to family, Daddy's voice. Cold as a deposition. She's a risk. Evelyn. Cut her loose. I woke sweating. The clock glowing 4:44 a.m. Time to rewrite the script. December 21st dawned gray and unforgiving. I hit the thrift shops on St. Mark's black jeans, a leather jacket that screamed trouble, boots scuffed just right. No more thrift store dresses for the Scarlet. I needed armor. By noon, I was at a midtown notary. Forging weight.
No.
Legitimizing a power of attorney for Grandma's accounts. She'd always trusted me with her little errands, last life. I'd balanced her checkbook while she napped. This time, I'd leverage it. A quick call to her banker. Voice modulated to mimic her clipped Brahmin tone. Evelyn Hayes. Transfer 5 mil to my granddaughter Scarlett. Immediate. The old goat didn't blink. Hayes' money moved like water. Funds hit my account by 2 p.m. I stared at the balance. $5,012,347.69. Enough to burn bridges. First wire. $1 million to Ruiz for research expenses. Second, $500,000 to a PI firm in Jersey. Specialists in cold cases. Dig up everything on a 1993 hit and run. Victim Maria Delgado. Discreet. Third. The rest? Into crypto. Untraceable. My war chest. That evening, I showed at the family pregame dinner, Becca's Loft in Soho. All exposed brick and overpriced charcuterie. They were there. The vipers in cashmere, Marcus. Nursing a scotch. His Rolex glinting like a threat, Becca. Scrolling Insta. Her lips Botox frozen in a perpetual pout, Daddy. Schmoozing on speaker with some lobbyist. Aunt Lydia. Fluttering like a moth to the flame of approval. Uncle Ray was MIA. Probably dodging collectors. Scarlett. Becca air-kissed. Her perfume choking. You look edgy. Bushwick rubbing off. I smiled. Teeth bared. Something like that. Heard Grandma's check party's gonna be lit. Marcus chuckled. Low and oily. If by lit, you mean her dragging out that same speech about legacy. Girl. Cash it and ghost. Life's too short. Too short. I nearly laughed.
Oh.
I planned to make it count. We small-talked toxins. Stock tips. Hampton's shares. Who was banging the trainer. But I watched. Marcus's eyes flicked to his phone too often. Texts from a lawyer. No doubt. Prepping the frame job. Daddy's laugh rang false when Grandma's name dropped. Becca's nails drummed impatience. They thought I was the weak link. the one who'd fold under pressure. Last time, I had confronted them tearfully, begging for scraps of loyalty. This time, I'd edit them out frame by frame. As dessert hit, tiramisu laced with passive aggression, Aunt Lydia leaned in. Scarlett,
Dear.
have you reconsidered law school? Your father's firm could use fresh blood. I forked a bite. Slow.
Nah.
Too many skeletons in those closets. The table stilled. Marcus coughed. What? Just a metaphor, I said, winking. Pass the espresso? That night, alone in my loft, I pored over the PI's prelim report. Maria Delgado, 19, crushed under tires on a rainy FDR drive. No witnesses. Case shelved after a $200,000 settlement to her family, gag order included. But there was more. Grandpa's alibi cracked under scrutiny. A doorman saw him return at 3 a.m.
Coat soaked.
And Grandma? She'd hosted a private viewing of the body at the morgue. Per the logs. Why? To buy silence? Or something darker? My burner buzzed, Ruiz. This is dynamite.
Kid.
But Hayes? They'll bury you. Not this time, I replied. They already tried. December 22nd blurred into reconnaissance. I tailed Marcus to his Tribeca gym, watched him flirt with a trainer, then slip into a coffee shop for a hushed call. Yeah. Make sure the talk screen's clean. She's erratic, it'll stick. Erratic.
Me.
The word burned. I snapped pics. Geolocated the call to a firm called Blackthorn Legal, divorce mill for the 1%. Specialists in discrete resolutions. Becca was easier. Her feed overflowed with stories of holiday blues, geotagged to a discreet clinic in Chelsea. Rehab light, courtesy of family funds. I hacked her old password, CoQueen87, and found text to Marcus. Sis is spiraling. We do this quick. Spiraling.
Cute. That?
Senate hopeful. Stumping in Jersey. I crashed his rally incognito, blending with the MAGA hats and Union jackets. He preached family values, hand on heart, while his aide whispered about the girl problem. I slipped a note into his coat pocket at the rope line. Maria says hi. S. His face when he read it later? Priceless. I imagined it.
Anyway.
Grandma's penthouse loomed like a gilded tomb. I visited her that afternoon, unannounced. She was in the solarium, knitting scarves for orphans she never met, her hands veined like marble cracks. Scarlett, darling, you look haunted. I knelt, took her hand, cold,
papery.
Grandma, the scarf in the attic. Maria. I know, her eyes, sharp as cut glass, didn't waver. And, last time, she'd iced me out, called me ungrateful. This time, I pushed.
They want me gone.
For it. For you. She sighed, ancient and weary. The Hayes way. Protect the name at all costs. Your grandfather. He panicked. I cleaned it. But you, child, you see too much. Teach me, I whispered. How to clean my own mess. She laughed. A dry rattle. Revenge is a poor director. Scarlett. It cuts the wrong scenes. But she slipped me a key to the safe. Inside, ledgers. Not just financial. Debts owed. Favors called. And a letter, undated, to my truest heir. Burn it all if you must. But remember, blood washes cleanest in fire. I left with $100,000 in bearer bonds and a plan sharpening like a stiletto. December 23rd, escalation. I wired $200,000 to Blackthorn Anonymous. Flagged as settlement from Hayes Estate. Let them chase ghosts. Marcus's phone blew up. I watched from a cafe across the street, sipping latte like it was venom. He paced, cursing, dialing Daddy. It's her. Has to be. Becca cracked first. A frantic voicemail at midnight. Scarlett. What the fuck? Call me. I did. Voice syrup sweet. What's up? Cuz. Some lawyer's calling about.
Debts.
And that hit and run shit? If you're messing. Me? Messing? I feigned gasp. Becca. Family's everything. See you tomorrow. She hung up sobbing.
Good.
Let the cracks spiderweb. The blizzard hit full force by dawn, blanketing the city in hush. I prepped my costume, the red dress from last time, but paired with Doc Martens and a locket holding Maria's scarf thread. Symbolic. Sentimental.
Deadly.
Christmas Eve. The penthouse glowed like a beacon for sinners. Valet took my keys, same kid as last time. Eyes downcast.
Inside.
The tree towered, ornaments from Newport summers glinting. The family assembled, 12 of us, plus spouses. A tableau of wasp perfection. Grandma at the head, regal in emerald velvet. Her check envelopes fanned like poker hands. Hugs.
Lies.
You look great. Scar. Missed you at the gala. I played along. The prodigal returned. All smiles and small talk. Marcus cornered me by the bar. Truce. He clinked glasses. Eggnog sloshing, unspiked.
For now.
Always, I said, sipping water. To legacy. Dinner dragged. Turkey dry as grudges. Potatoes whipped with resentment. Toasts flew, Daddy on unity, Becca on forgiveness. Then Grandma rose, bell in hand. My darlings. In this season of giving, the envelopes distributed, one by one. Gasps. Hugs.
Tears.
Mine landed last, crisp. Sealed. $5 million promise. They pocketed theirs quick, Marcus already texting his broker. Becca snapped a selfie with hers. Living my best life. I held mine, unopened. Grandma? A word. She nodded, leading me to the study. Door shut. You came for more than money. I tore the envelope. Inside the check.
Yes.
But tucked beneath? A post-it. Safe code, 1993. Use wisely. I hugged her fierce. I love you. Love's the sharpest blade. Child. Back in the fray. I waited. 10 p.m. The grandfather clock chimed. Presents unwrapped. Laughter forced. Then my phone buzzed Ruiz. Story drops at midnight. Front page.
Time.
I climbed onto the coffee table. Glass in hand, water.
Still.
Family. A toast. They turned. Expectant. Marcus smirked. To what? Scar? Stability. I laughed. To truths. Like the night Grandpa drove drunk. Hit Maria Delgado on the FDR. December 23rd, 1993. Scarf in the attic. Emails from Daddy's firm. Grandma's donation. Silence crashed like cymbals. Daddy choked on wine. Becca paled. Marcus lunged. You're insane. But I held up my phone. Ruiz's draft live-streamed, headlines screaming, Hayes heirloom, hit and run cover-up expose. You framed me last time, I said, voice steady as steel. Poison me on Christmas. Thought I'd OD. Take the secret with me. But I came back. To cash this, I waved the check. And burn you all. Chaos erupted. Accusations flew. Lies. She's bluffing. Uncle Ray bolted for the door. Slipping on ice, bookies tipped. No doubt. Becca wailed. Mascara rivers. Daddy grabbed my arm. Scarlet. Stop this. Think of the family. Family? I wrenched free. You killed for it. Grandma's bell rang.
Sharp.
Enough. She stood. Frail but iron.
She's right.
I covered it.
For all of you.
But no more. The room fractured. Marcus dialed his lawyer. Deadline. My PI had jammed signals. Cops? Already en route. Tipped by Ruiz. As sirens wailed distant, I slipped to the safe. Code punched. 1993.
Inside.
The ledgers. Fuel for the fire. I pocketed them. Wired the $5 million to my crypto wallet.
Cashed. Gone.
They stared as I descended the stairs. Snow swirling outside. Merry Christmas, I called. Dismiss me at your peril. The door shut. Freedom tasted like frost. Sirens sliced the night like accusations. Blue and red painting the penthouse windows in strobing gilt. I didn't run, why bother? The Hayes machine had always outpaced justice. But tonight, I jammed the gears with truths too viral to bury. My phone vibrated nonstop. Ruiz. Live updates. Twitter's exploding. Hayes hit and run trending top 5. Notifications from newsrooms I'd never pitched. CNN. Fox. Even TMZ, with its trashy flair. Eris blows lid off Dynasty secret. I smirked into the blizzard. Hail nipping my cheeks like vengeful pixies. 5 blocks to the subway. Then Brooklyn Sanctuary. But first, a detour. The family spilled out behind me, Daddy bellowing for the valet. Marcus shoving Becca toward his Escalade. Aunt Lydia clutching her pearls like a rosary. Uncle Ray vanished into the storm, probably hailing a cab to Atlantic City. Debts be damned. Grandma lingered on the stoop. Shawl clutched, her eyes meeting mine across the gulf. No wave. No plea. Just a nod, absolution. Or farewell. I nodded back. Blood or not. We'd scripted this finale together. Subway to Bushwick, a metal beast rattling under the city like buried screams. I hunkered in a corner seat. Red dress rumpled. Boots tracking slush. Fellow riders glanced, headlines on their screens. My face pixelated beside Maria's faded photo. A Latina mom in scrubs whispered to her teen. That's her. The one who spoke up. The kid nodded.
Fierce.
Good for her. I buried my face in my scarf. The thread from Maria's a talisman against tears. Not victory yet. Just intermission. My loft greeted me with stale air and regrets ghosts, unpaid bills pinned to the fridge. A script outline for Family Lies, mocking from the desk. I booted the laptop. Synced the ledgers. Digitized. Encrypted. Seeded to WikiLeaks mirrors. By 2 a.m., the story metastasized, protests flickering on live feeds. Queen's families chanting Delgado's name outside Daddy's DC. Office. Blackthorn Legal's site crashed under DDoS, my PI's handiwork. $50,000 well spent. Sleep? A joke. Dawn crept gray. December 25th. And my burner rang. Grandma. Scarlet. The study's secure.
Come.
They're watching.
Let them.
You're the heir now. I arrived at noon. The city a ghost town of hungover excess. Penthouse empty, family scattered like roaches. Cops had come and gone. Statements taken. No arrests.
Yet.
Grandma waited in the library. Sherry in hand. A notary at her elbow. Wills amended, she said. Sliding papers. Everything to you. Conditions. Expose it all. Clean the slate. I scanned. Penthouse. Hampton's estate. The Swiss vaults. $200 million empire. Mine. Why now? Her laugh cracked. You died.
Didn't you?
I saw it in your eyes that first dinner. The way you flinched at the eggnog. Truce.
Child.
Or whatever you call it. Rebirth. She poured me a glass, water. Untainted. Then be reborn right. But beware, revenge starves its host. We talked till dusk. Maria's family. Traced to a Bronx walk-up, the $200,000 that bought silence. Now peanuts against inflation's bite. Give it back, Grandma urged. With interest, I wired $10 million that night. Anonymous. Through Ruiz's nonprofit contacts. For Maria's kin, the note read. From one ghost to another. A Christmas night blurred into fallout. Daddy's Senate bid tanked, opponents dredging old donations. Whispers of ethical lapses. Marcus holed up in his loft. LinkedIn purge in progress. Job offers evaporating like mist. Becca checked into actual rehab. Paparazzi swarming the gates. Uncle Ray? Busted at the casino. Chips in hand. Spilling minor beans for bail.
Me?
I vanished into the machine. New ID. Courtesy of a fixer in Hell's Kitchen. $20,000 cash. Scarlett Hayes became Elena Voss, indie producer with a ghost story to sell. Loft sublet. Civic sold. By New Year's, I was in LA, pitching Blood Legacy to Netflix suits over kale smoothies. True crime with teeth, I called it. They bit 7 figures, plus points. But peace? Elusive. Nightmares looped, the poisons burn. Marcus's grin. I'd wake gasping. Scrolling alerts for loose ends. One pinged January 5th. A Blackthorn memo.
Leaked.
Hayes directive. Neutralize SH. Via litigation/medical. They'd plan deeper. Commitment papers. A breakdown narrative. My skin crawled. Time to tighten the noose. Back east for depositions, civil suits flying from every angle. Maria's family sued the estate, I testified. Voice steady. Painting the cover-up in broad. Demingstrokes. Daddy's lawyer circled. Silver-haired sharks in Armani. Grilling me on mental health history. MS.
Hayes.
Isn't it true you've suffered delusions? A Yale dropout. Living hand-to-mouth. Delusions. I leaned in. My cot. Like believing family sticks? Or covering a manslaughter for legacy's sake? The courtroom gasped. Reporters scribbled frenzy. Judge banged gavel. But the clip went viral. Scarlett speaks. 2 million views by dinner. Daddy's face? Ashen. Defeat etched. Post-trial. Marcus ambushed me in the garage, rain slicked. Desperate. Scar. This is suicide. For all of us. I revved my rental Beamer. Wipers slashing. You spiked the drink.
Mark.
That's murder. He paled.
It was.
An accident. Overdose miscalc. Please. Merry Christmas, I said, peeling out. Tires screamed echo to Grandpa's. February thawed the city, but grudges lingered. Grandma's health dipped pneumonia, the docs said, but I saw stress's toll. I visited weekly, reading scripts aloud, her critique sharp as ever. Cut the exposition, darling. Show the sin. One night, she confessed, I loved him. Your grandfather. Even after the wheel turned. Forgive him.
No.
But understand? Yes. She pressed a locket into my palm, Maria's.
Engraved.
Wear it. Remember why. I did. Chain cold against skin. Production rant. Blood Legacy greenlit. Casting calls buzzing. I cast unknowns. Raw talent over pedigrees. A Latina lead for Maria. Fire in her eyes. Auditions in Silver Lake. Sun mocking East Coast chill. Twist hit mid-March. Becca's suicide note. Leaked to TMZ. Can't live with the lies. Scar. I'm sorry. Pills. Bathtub. Classic tragedy. I flew back. Funeral a media circus. Family pews sparse. Daddy absent. Campaigning in denial. Marcus stone-faced. Arm around a new fiancé. Gold digger alert. I sat rear. Anonymous in black. Becca's ghost whispering accusations. After. Marcus cornered me in the vestibule. You're doing. Mine. I laughed bitter. You pushed her. Mark. The plan. The pressure. He lunged, fist cocked, but Ray stepped in, slurring. Enough.
Boy.
She's right. I drove Lookout that night. 93. All of us complicit. Ray's confession? Domino. By April, indictments reigned. Manslaughter for Grandpa, posthumous smear. Obstruction for Grandma, plea bargained to fines. Conspiracy for Daddy and Marcus. Trials loomed summer, circus of the century. I cashed another check, Grandma's revised will. Probate fast-tracked. $50 million wired to a foundation, Delgado Justice Fund. Scholarships for immigrant kids. Cold case pods. Ruiz headed it. Cigar-chomping grin. You're a mogul now. Voss. Elena, I corrected. But Scarlet lingered. Shadow self. Spring bloomed cruel. Paparazzi tales. Death threats from loyalists. I hired security. Ex-Fed. Stoic. One night. In a Malibu safe house. Waves crashing judgment. I dreamed the crash. Tires hydroplaning. Maria's scream swallowed by rain. Woke to my phone. Unknown caller. Marcus.
Scarlet.
Meet me. One last talk. Where? Old spot. Hamptons. Dawn. Trap? Likely. But closure? Essential. May 1st. I drove out convertible top down. Wind whipping redemption. The estate loomed. Shutters boarded. Weeds claiming the drive. Marcus waited on the porch. Gaunt in chinos. Eyes hollowed by depositions. You came. Curiosity. He lit a cig. Hand shaking. I did it. The poison. For Dad's run. For Becca's habits.
For.
Everything. Thought it'd end clean. It didn't.
No.
He exhaled smoke ghost. Becca's note? Mentioned you. Said you were the brave one. Tears pricked, betrayal's echo. Too late. I know. He tossed a USB. Everything. Blackmail files. The works. Burn me with it. I pocketed it.
Why?
Redemption's a bitch. He turned, walked into the surf, waves claiming his silhouette.
Gunshot? No.
Just a man breaking. Back in LA. I uploaded the files, anonymous drop to prosecutors. Marcus flipped. Full immunity for testimony. Daddy's empire crumbled, disbarred, divorced,
DC.
dreams dust. Grandma past June solstice, peaceful, in her sleep. Funeral private, me. The foundation board, Maria's kin. Eulogy mine, she built walls. I tore them down. Summer wrapped production, premiere buzzed. Critics raving, visceral takedown of privilege. Box office? Smash. My cut? Enough for islands. But I bought a Brooklyn brownstone, roots reclaimed. Fall leaves turned. And twist landed. Pregnancy test positive. Who's? A producer fling. Fleeting. But life, new script. I named her Maria Evelyn. Tiny fist clenched like justice. They dismissed me once. I cashed in forever. October's chill seeped into the brownstone like doubt's fingers. But Maria Evelyn's kicks were fire, reminders that some plots twist toward light. The premiere afterparty thrummed in my veins still, red carpet flashbulbs, toasts from A-listers who'd once ghosted my pitches. Scarlett, Elena, you're the real deal, a director slurred. Clinking flutes. I smiled, hand on the swell of belly. But inside, a storm brewed. Marcus's USB burned a hole in my safe. Its files of Pandora's cache, not just Hayes dirt, but tendrils to DC. Fixers. Wall Street whispers. Daddy's consulting fees.
Bribes.
Becca's friends.
Cartel ties.
Funneled through offshore shells. I'd held back, letting feds chew the low-hanging fruit.
But now?
With a kid en route, loose ends felt like nooses. Ruiz called November 1st. Voice gravel over static. Feds want you in. Protected witness. That drive? It's a roadmap to half the Senate. Tell them no. I paced the nursery. Walls painted cornflower. Crib assembled crooked by my own hands. I'm done testifying. Kid. This ain't optional. Marcus sang, your pops too. They're flipping on bigger fish. You ghost. You paint a target. The baby fluttered. Protest or plea. I hung up. Dial my fixer. New identity. 4-2. Canada? Complicated. Borders tight post-scandal. Make it un. By dawn. Bags packed. Scripts. Bonds. Maria's locket. But flight nagged. Revenge's arc bent toward isolation. Win the war. Lose the world. I drove to Queens, unannounced, to the Delgado home. Modest row house. Virgin Mary's statue sentinel. Rosa, Maria's sister, now aunt to a brood, opened the door. Eyes wary then warm. Elena. Come for tea. We sat in the kitchen, steam rising like confessions. Rosa's hands, calloused from nursing shifts, cradled mine. The fund, it's changed lives. My niece. College-bound. Because of you. Because of Maria. I touched the locket. I wear her story. She nodded. Tears unshed. But yours? The baby? Scared. Fear's the real poison. She pressed a photo into my palm. Maria, 19, radiant in a diner uniform. She fought for us. You fight for yours. I left with resolve stealing. No Canada. Face the storm. Thanksgiving loomed ironic, turkey and truths. I hosted solo. Takeout from a soul food spot. TV droning football. Phone buzzed. Grandma's lawyer. Contested will. Cousins claim coercion. Marcus? Or holdouts? I laughed hollow. Let him sue. Discovery's a bitch. December crept. Snow dusting the stoop like forgotten grace. Braxton Hicks hit hard. False alarms. But warnings. Docs urged bed rest. I paced instead. Scripting testimony in my head. Ruiz prepped me. Stick to facts. No flare. Flare's my weapon. Christmas Eve redux. Subpoena delivery. Served at the brownstone by a kid in ill-fitting suit. MS. Hayes boss. Deposition. Federal court. I signed. Smirking. Ho ho ho. Trial season erupted January, U.S.
V.
Hayes et al. Manhattan Federal. Gallery packed with gawkers and griefers. I took the stand day 3. Belly prominent under wool. Voice amplified by amps and anger. Prosecutor. A shark named Hale. MS. Voss. Describe the conspiracy. I leaned in. It started with a crash. 1993. Grandpa behind the wheel. High on Gala Scotch. Maria Delgado. Maid's daughter. Wrong place. They covered. Payoffs. Gag orders. Fast forward. I dig it up. They poison me. Christmas 25 to silence. Cousin Marcus. The hand. Daddy. The brains. Objections flew. Hearsay. Speculation. But Hale wheeled in exhibits. Emails. Scarf fibers matching the scene. Talks report from my OD. Jury leaned.
Hut.
Cross-exam. Daddy's new counsel. A viper from Texas. MS. Voss. Isn't this vendetta? You profited film deal. Foundation fame. Profit. I fired back. I died for your client sins. Call it karma's cut. Gasps rippled. Judge sustained half. But damage stuck. Marcus testified next broken. Buzz cut from stress. Voice cracking. I mixed the dose. Thought it'd look like relapse. Scar Elena. She knew too much. Jury winced.
Daddy?
Stonewall till the end. Family loyalty. Misguided. Perhaps. Misguided. The word hung like smog. Verdicts dropped February 14th. Valentine's gut punch. Marcus, 15 years. Conspiracy to murder. Daddy, 10. Obstruction and bribery. Fines crippled the remnants. Hamptons sold at auction. Penthouse museum bound for public reckoning. Outside court. Press swarm. Mics thrust. Questions barbed. Elena. Any regrets? I paused. Hand on belly. Only that it took a death to wake us. Home that night. Contractions real. Water broke on the foyer rug. Hospital blur. Beeps. Pushes. A cry-shattering midnight. Maria Evelyn Voss. 7 pounds 2 ounces. Eyes like storm clouds. Rosa at my bedside. Crooning Spanish lullabies. Ruiz in the hall. Cigar stubbed. Nephew. Niece. I corrected. Exhausted bliss. Welcome to the sequel. Spring unfurled gentle. Walks in Prospect Park. Papoose strapped. Dodging fans. Foundation thrived. First scholarships awarded. Kids like Maria 2.0. Fierce and funded. Film awards trickled, Emmy noms, whispers of Oscar Doc Branch. But shadows lingered. April alert, anonymous tip to my security. Hayes holdout. Watch your back. Becca's ex? Or Uncle Ray? Paroled early for snitching? I upped guards. Installed cams, paranoia as parenting. Maybank holiday. Threat materialized. Firebomb through the brownstone window. Nursery singed but intact. Maria safe in my arms. Sirens our lullaby. Arson traced to a lowlife hired by Aunt Lydia, her text to a fixer, and a quiet. For Becca. Quiet. I laughed through smoke. Cops cuffed her at a spa in Palm Springs. Manicure interrupted. Scarlet. She was my baby. So was I said. Via video link. Rot in it. Summer scorched. Lydia's trial a footnote. Plea to 5 years. I retreated to the vineyard, Grandma's old cottage. Waves therapy. Maria cooed at gulls. Tiny truths in gummy smiles. Production calls piled. Sequel greenlit. Legacy's end. I wrote from the porch. Salt air scripting redemption. Twist whispered August. DNA test. Routine prenatal follow-up. Father? Not the producer. Marcus. One drunken hookup post-scandal. Forgotten in haze. My stomach nodded. Blood's curse. Or full circle. I confronted him in prison visitor's booth. Plexiglass cold. The baby's yours. His eyes, mine. Now, widened.
Scar.
Elena. Raise her right. Not like us. Promise. Swear. Fall harvest. Leaves gold. Secrets ripe. I told Rosa no judgment. Just a hug. Family's chosen, she said. December dawned crisp. 1 year post-rebirth. Christmas tree trimmed solo. Ornaments from the penthouse. Salvaged. Maria Evelyn. Toddling. Batted baubles. Chaos cute. Door knocked. Rosa. With tamales Ruiz. With rye. Small circle. Vast enough. That night. Under lights. I cashed the last bond. $5M. Symbolic. Donated half to the fund. Half to a trust for her. Dismissed? Never again. They stunned. I soared. Winter's grip loosened grudging by January 27. But mine on the brownstone. Rebuilt fiercer. Smart glass windows and panic rooms. Held iron. Maria Evelyn's first steps echoed victories. From ashes to ambles. One wobbly triumph at a time. The sequel wrapped in Vancouver. Snow globe sets mirroring my old chill. And buzz built. Blood Legacy 2. Reckoning. Delving Marcus's prison journals. Lydia's unraveling tapes. Critics previewed braver. Bloodier. But I knew. Closure's the cruelest cut. Ruiz's 60th loomed President's Day. Bash at his queen's dive. Cigar haze and corned beef. I arrived late. Maria on hip. Dodging backslaps. To Elena he boomed. Raising foam. Save my ass with that scoop. And mine, I countered. Clinking seltzer. Rosa cornered me by the bar. Letters came. For the girl. Maria's? I frowned. What? From him. Marcus. Prison mail. Back home. Envelopes yellowed. Script shaky. First, Elena, our daughter's eyes? Like yours.
Fierce.
Teacher mercy. Not my mistakes. Pages followed. Therapy scrawls. Amends to ghosts. Last, I spiked the drink to protect what? Nothing. Forgive, earn it. I burned half, kept half. Mercy simmered, not served. Spring equinox brought blooms and bombshells. Daddy's appeal denied. Transfer to Supermax. A collect call, his voice. Hollowed by years, Scarlet. The baby. Elena, I snapped. And she's fine. Without you. Visit. Please. I did. April showers drumming the drive. Booth Stark. His face gaunt. Senate polish peeled to prisoner pallor. Grandkids, he rasped. How many?
1.
Girl. Silence stretched.
I.
Loved you. In my way. Love. I leaned close. You buried me for votes. Legacy. Screw legacy. I stood. Maria's got a better one. Outside. Rain washed clean. No tears. Just release. May margaritas with the crew, foundation gala. Met steps. Maria. Two now. Twirled in tulle. Rosa's mini-me. Bid soared. $2 million for a Hayes ledger page. Auctioned for History's Bite. Post-party. A suit sidled. MS. Voss. State Department. The files, Marcus's drop. Unraveled a ring. Embezzlement. Foreign ties.
You want in?
Advisory. I sipped.
Considering.
On justice? Always. June solstice. Grandma's marker dedication. Riverside Cemetery. Marble simple. Evelyn Hayes, builder. Breaker. I laid lilies. Maria scattering petals. She was strong, I told her. Like you. Whispers followed. Uncle Ray. Clean 6 months. AA meetings his anchor. Kiddo, he phoned. Voice gravel grateful. Oh, you. That nudge saved me. Forgive yourself first. Summer sizzled. Sequel premiere. Can carpet crimson. Maria in pigtails. Flashing piece. Paps ate it. Reviews raved. Voss cements canon. Unflinching air. Backstage. A producer pal. Oscar Locke. What's next? Rest.
Lie.
Scripts brewed. Immigrant tales. No dynasties. Fall foliage fired the vineyard escape. Cottage mine now. Waves mentor. Maria built sandcastles. I outlined echoes. A novel graphic hybrid on rebirths unspoken. Twist teased. Prenatal echo?
No.
Deeper. A journal from Grandma's attic. Unearthed in Reno. To Scarlet. The crash? Not accident. Rival setup. Business war. I covered to protect us all. But you, expose if you must. Truth's the only heir. Rival? Buried name. Blackthorn's founder. Long dead. I dug. PI on speed dial. Threads unraveled. 93 gala sabotage. Tires tampered. Grandpa innocent? No, drunk still drove. But Grandma's shield? Layered. Complicit?
Yes.
Savior.
2.
I confronted the grave. October wind whipping. You knew. All along. No answer. But peace settled. Mosaic. December 27. Tree taller. Traditions thicker. Rosa's tamales. Ruiz's rhymes. Doggerel dogging haze. Maria. 3. Hung her ornament to star. Locket mini. For secrets, she lisped. Midnight mass skipped, pagan at heart. Instead, fire pit crackle. Story spun. Once, I began. A girl died for truth. Dawn broke crisp. Gifts modest. Books for her. Bonds for us. Phone pinged. Marcus. Parole whisper. Good behavior. Early out. Letter enclosed. Coming home. To meet her? I paused. Star in hand. Dismissed?
No.
Stunned? Perhaps. Yes, I typed. But on my terms. Blood thinned.
But bonds?
Forged anew. I cashed the dawn. Legacy's light. No shadows left. They'd dismiss the check. The girl. The ghost. I cashed it all, leaving them not stunned, but shattered. Remade. And in the quiet, with Maria's breath soft beside, I whispered to the ghosts, cut.